Okay, guess I had the microphone muted. Okay, in this video, I'm going to go over how to solve linear equations and how they'll look on the EOI. The biggest thing I want you to have with you, obviously I want you to work the problems, understand the problems, and watch these videos as much as you need and ask me questions. But pull out that calculator. That calculator is our best friend for the EOI. So have that out as we go through these so you can figure out how to solve these the other way. So the first one says, which ordered pair is a solution to the equation y equals 2x minus 1? Now remember, an ordered pair is x comma y. So if I plug in my x, will I get my y is basically what you're going to do. And we'll just start at the beginning. So with x equal to -2. So in your calculator, you can just do 2 times -2 minus 1. Okay, if you pop that in there, you should get -5. Because 2 times -2 is -4, minus 1 would be -5. This one says the y is 5, so that can't be right. Okay, let's move on to the next one. Pop it in your calculator. 2 times 1 minus 1. So I'm just taking the x and putting it in here. 2 times 1 minus 2, you should get 1. Okay, they want you to get 3 if that's the correct answer, so that can't be right. Okay, let's try the next one. 2 times 2 minus 1. Put that in your calculator. 2 times 2 is 4, minus 1 is 3. They say you should get -5, so that one's not right either. Okay, let's try the last one. Should hopefully be it. 2 times -1 minus 1. 2 times -1 would be -2, minus 1 is -3, and that's it. Bingo. Okay, use your calculator because I don't want you to get things wrong from like a calculating error. So make sure you use your calculator, or if you want to do it on your own, that's fine, but check it in your calculator, please. Okay, the next one, what is the value of x? What value of x is the solution to this equation? So you can solve the equation. I think I talked about this in another video. Like, feel free to solve it, but there are other ways, like if you forget or you want to double check. So to solve this, we would add 5 to both sides. 2x equals 12. Then we divide both sides by 2. And x equals 6. Okay, let's say you freeze up and you forget how to solve an equation, or you want to check your answer. Remember, you can always plug back in like we were doing over here. Here, all we were doing is plugging in. Same thing here. One of these is the answer. So if I plug that back in, let's make sure it works. 2 times 6 minus 5. Does that equal 7? 2 times 6 is 12. 12 minus 5 equals 7. So that is the right answer. Okay, so you could have gone, instead of solving it, you could have done 2 times 1 minus 5. Does that equal 7? Nope, not the right answer. 2 times 6 minus 5. Does it equal 7? Yes, so it's the right answer. Okay, this looks scary because it's got words, but I promise it's not. The equation below represents the cost y of a large pizza with different numbers of toppings, x. So y is the cost of the pizza, and x is the number of toppings. Before tax, Carla paid $19 for a large pizza. How many toppings were on Carla's pizza? So to figure out how much a pizza is, it's $10.25 plus $1.25 per topping. So if Carla paid $19 for her pizza, that's y, because that's the cost of the pizza. And so we want to find x. So you can solve it. For x, so if you were to solve it for x, you would take 19 minus 1025. Right, we subtract this from both sides. did I get? Not 875. Oops, I forgot my X there, didn't I? Goes to $1.25 X. So basic price of the pizza was $10.25, and then she got $8.75 worth of toppings. And divide that by 1.25. X equals 7, so she got 7 toppings. Okay, once again, like on the other ones, if you don't want to solve it, you don't trust that you solved it, or you want to double check your work, plug things in, okay? So the same thing, you do 10 in your calculator, you do 10.25 plus $1.25 times 6. That's $17.75. We wanted the pizza to cost $19, so that can't be the right answer. So then you move on to B. $1.25 times 7 toppings plus $10.25, 19. So that's the right answer. Hope that makes sense. Okay, same exact process for this one. The profit P an ice cream store makes in one day when producing X gallons of ice cream is given by the equation P equals 60X minus 420. For what value of X is the profit equal to 0? Okay, profit is P. So we're just going to replace that P with a 0. So we're figuring out how many gallons of ice cream do they have to sell just to break even or have, the profit equals 0. And so here's our equation. So let's say you are like, oh my goodness, I can't remember how to solve this, okay? Well, we know one of these is the answer. These are all your X's. This is how many gallons of ice cream. So we're going to plug each of these in and find out which one gets us to 0. So 60 times 0 minus 420 equals negative 420. Well, we want it to equal 0, so that can't be right. Okay, and you can totally solve that, and we can solve it too, but I just want you to understand this process too, in case you get stumped. 60 times 1 minus 420, negative 360. So it's not 1 gallon of ice cream. Okay, 60 times 7 minus 420 is 0. Okay, so it's 7 gallons is what that she needs to. Okay, let's move on to the next one. Brad graduated from college and started a new job. The table shows his yearly salary Y for each year X for the next 4 years. If Brad's salary continues to increase at the same rate, what will his salary be for the 7th year? So the first thing we need to do is figure out what is it increasing by? What is this rate that it's increasing by? Okay, so I just really need to find out what's the change from here to here, here to here, here to here. Okay, so do 38,600 minus 36,500. 2,100. This is raise each year. Let's just check one more to make sure. Let's do the last one. 2,100. Okay, so we could set up an equation, but how I like to solve this one is to continue on with the table. I think that makes more sense. So they want to know in the 7th year of his job. So we have 5, we have 6, and we have 7. So I'm just going to continue adding 2,100 each year till I get to year 7, and I should have my answer. So 42,800 plus another 2,100 raise. So now I'll be making 44,900. Okay, then he gets another raise. Now he's making 47,000. Okay, and then one more raise to get to where we need, and that's 49,100, which would be C. Okay, so we figure out what is that change every year. and then just continue on with the table. That's how I like to do this one. We can also set up an equation, but if that makes sense, let me know. If it doesn't, then we can also go the equation route. But there's lots of ways to solve things. Okay, Tina will set up chairs for a concert. She will get 20% more chairs than the number of tickets sold. There were 130 tickets sold. How many chairs will she set up? So she needs to set up 20% more chairs than the tickets she sells. Probably just make sure she has some extras. So we need to find out what 20% more is. So you could, in your calculator, do times 20%, or we know 20% as a decimal is 0.2. Oops. So that's 26 more chairs. The thing, how many chairs will Tina set up is going to be 130 plus 26. So it's going to be 156. To make sure you read and understand the question, and then once you think you have the answer, read it again. Does that make sense? Which I had a lot of students that used to tell me 26 chairs. She'd only set up 26 chairs. That doesn't make sense. They got the how many more, the 20% part, but they didn't add them together to get the total number. So just make sure you understand that. Joe started saving for a car. He opened a savings account with $400 and saves $50 per week. He needs $2,000 to buy this car. How many weeks will it take Joe to save enough money for the car? So he needs $2,000. Okay, he opened it with 400, and then he's saving per week. Anytime you see per week, per day, per anything, think multiplication. That's going to be your rate of change, and that's where you're going to multiply it times x, and that's all. And we're going to have to figure out x. So that's whenever you see per week, you know it's going to be 50x. If it's per day, it's, you know, that times x. That's your rate of change, your slope. Okay, so to solve this, we'd subtract 400 from both sides. Move this up here. So then we have 1600 equals 50x. Divide both sides by 50. Sorry, this is sloppy. Okay. 1500 divided by 50, 32 weeks. Okay, and we could check that. We could do 50 times 50, oops, is 32. 50 times 32 plus 400 gives me 2,000. So that makes sense. Okay, what is the solution for x? So we could solve for x. We could subtract 8 from both sides. 2x equals negative 14. Divide both sides by 2. X equals negative 7. And remember, you can also plug things in. So you could have done 2 times negative 7. I don't think this says negative. Plus 8 and see if it gets you negative 6 and go down the line that way. Okay, check your answer that way. Okay, this one, if you're like, oh my goodness, same thing, you don't want to solve it, plug each of these in for x. You know, use your calculator. You can put it in here in your calculator exactly how it looks right here and see which one gets you 15. Okay, on my calculator on here, I can't show you how that would look. I can show you how to solve it, but so try it in your calculator and see if that works for you. And 31 over 6. My point in this is I'm really trying on the solve equations one to get you to use your calculator, because A, it'll help you do it a little quicker. B, you can check your work this way. So if you wanted to solve it, you would distribute and get negative 4 plus 6x minus 12 equals 15. Okay, then you combine, you get negative 16 plus 6x equals 15.